Hi, I'm Matt Rosendahl from Smallish Business. I want to talk to you today about a concept that I learned about a year ago while listening to the Seth Godin podcast, Akimbo. He just briefly in passing mentioned this thing called the hype cycle. And I'd never heard of it, but I Googled it. I came up with this Fenn and Ruskino at the Gartner Institute. They created this thing called the hype cycle. And what it really is used for in their concept is for tracking technological innovation and how things go from being hyped a whole lot to coming down on the cycle and then eventually figuring things out and going on to productivity. But as I studied it a little bit more and I read the book, this book, Mastering the Hype Cycle, which I'll put an affiliate link down in the description for you. As I studied it a little bit more, I realized that that hype cycle is really like the life cycle of a business or an industry. And I think it's important for anyone in business right now with either an existing business or especially a startup to look at where their industry or the key technology of that industry lies on that hype cycle before you get too far down the road. So I'm going to draw it for you on the board so that you can see exactly what this hype cycle means, what I'm talking about. So we're going to call this axis hype, and this is time. And so imagine a new technology. We'll talk a little bit about maybe electric cars. Is a really good one to talk about, and that industry as a whole. So electric cars, maybe back in the 1990s, there was all kinds of hype about electric cars. Everyone, oh man, this is going to be great. It's going to save the planet. It's going to stop global warming. It's just, there's a fuel crisis. We're going to run out of oil, all that kind of stuff. So there was all kinds of hype. And a lot of the automakers came out with different models of electric cars. But then it got up here and people started realizing that the range of them was really bad, the expensive batteries to replace because they didn't have a long life cycle. There were no charging stations, so it was difficult to find places to charge it if you did want to take a long trip. The models that they had out didn't have a lot of features. They were really expensive. They were being supported by tax credits, and without the tax credits, they just couldn't make it in the market. So the hype around that thing, and actually the sales and everything started to go down. And so down here at the bottom, we have this is all the hype coming up, and then this is the slope of disillusionment here, where people are starting to realize that this thing is not all it's cracked up to be. But then down here in this trough, they call this the trough of disillusionment. I'm not going to write that all out, but we'll just say trough of dis. In that trough of disillusionment is where all of these companies who were in this technology but couldn't figure it out went out of business. They got bought and sold and merged into other companies that did have what it takes to get through this. And what the companies that are in this trough are doing is taking all of these complaints that were on this disillusionment slope here and figuring out how to correct those technologies, how to make those things actually work. And they were buying up the technology of the companies that actually knew what was going on. And so then as time goes on, we come out on this slope. And this is the slope of productivity. This is the plateau of productivity. EAU. Okay? And it's on this plateau of productivity where we see companies like Tesla coming out of here that have figured it out, have figured out the technology and now have what it takes to actually make things happen in the marketplace. Now, as this goes on and on and on down through time, eventually there will be a cliff. And they call this the cliff of obsolescence. It's where some other new technology came out that makes this thing obsolete. But as far as we can see right now, electric vehicles, it's pushed way off of this chart. And so what you need to do as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, is to look and see where your business falls on this chart. Where does your industry fall? So if you're in the automotive repair industry, for example, maybe you have a muffler shop, but electric cars are going to be taken off, probably not a good idea. I would not start a muffler shop nowadays. And any industry that you're in, I don't care what it is, maybe interior design. If interior design on this chart doesn't really fit, but what you can do is look at some of the key technologies that are used for that, like the augmented reality and virtual reality technologies and 3D photography and everything to be able to help plan spaces, and the artificial intelligence engines that help you match colors and all that kind of stuff. All of those technologies are coming up on this plateau right now. So whatever industry you're in, take a look at this life cycle of the industry and plan your start for a new business in the trough or at the beginning of the plateau, because that's where you're going to see the most growth. Thanks for watching. I hope you found that helpful. I'm a small business coach, and my goal is to help you with your small business. And I'm going to ask you for one little small favor to help my small business, because my small business, a big part of it is YouTube. So I need you to give me a little thumbs up and click subscribe so that you'll be notified when I post new videos, which should be on Wednesdays or Thursdays. I'm going to be shooting videos on Wednesdays and doing some editing and things and probably putting them up on Thursday morning. So do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Don't forget, you can get more information like this at smallishbusiness.com. Thanks.